everyone. Hope you're well. This is Asim Majid here. As I promised earlier, that I will be creating some videos for you guys to help you in terms of your questions. So now what we're going to do is now I'm going to split all the questions into different sections, and then I am going to explain that what sort of formulas and things you would have to use to complete your assessment questions. But before that, I just wanted to let you know that for anonymity purposes, I have changed the data. So the answers I'm going to get from this data might be different to yours one. But the one thing you need to remember is that you have to follow the same steps what I'm going to create in here. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to work on to the question one. What I have done now is I have copied and pasted this question from the assignment sheet, which is the first question is about the comparison by city. And in this question, there are two parts. The first part is which city has the highest and lowest insurance cost, and this will you have to represent it, provided a bar chart to support your answer. And then you have to have the second part of the question, which is how do demographic factors such as age, gender, and income influence the spending trends in different cities? So these are the two sections, two parts of question one. And if you look at this one at the bottom of this tab, I have put that as question one details, which is about the two questions. And then this is the data which you're going to apply your formulas, and then you're going to get the answers. First of all, one thing we just need to remember and to make a note of that, it is the record is the data record is starting from second row, and that goes up to, if you look at that now, that goes up to 501. So any column we are going to use, we will be having from row 2 to row 501. This is what we just have to remember that. Now, coming back onto the first part of the section, I remember that I have explained that, and I'm sure that you remember your first lesson, first, second, third, four lessons as well, when we spoke about the pivot tables. So what you need to do is, first of all, you need to create a pivot table. To create a pivot table, it's a very simple instruction. You go on to insert, then you click on pivot, and then from table range, remember there are two options to pick from. So the first option you have to pick it on. So from table range, and then don't make any changes. Just make sure that it clicks on new worksheet. That's it. And then you have to click on OK. So a new sheet will appear. To make it easy for your submission, a lot of students, a lot of different students have raised these questions. So how we are going to submit the questions? So first of all, remember that you are doing question one and you are going to work on part one. So what I'm going to do is, and I would suggest you to do the same, so it will be easy for you guys as well as for me to mark your work. You double click on this sheet two and make it question one, part one. So in that case, I will link this sheet with the part one of the questions. Now, what you have to do is, if you look at the question states as which city has the highest and lowest insurance cost. So what we are going to do now is we are going to have, first of all, the city. If you click on city, it automatically appear in the rows in here. You don't need to drag and drop, but usually in the classroom, I have shown you that you can actually drag and drop in here for the first column. The second thing we have to pick on is the insurance cost. So you can actually scroll it down and then you pick on insurance cost and you can click, drag and drop into the values here. Remember, it's values, not columns, it's in the values. And then you can see that this is the row labels and then the sum of insurance cost that appears in here. From here, we are going to make two changes. The first change is that if you click onto the sum of insurance in here, you see a pop-up menu appears, which is the value field settings. Click onto this one, and then you convert that into, change that into an average. Click onto this one, and here you go. So this is about the average of insurance cost of different cities. Okay. Then you have to have the row labels. It doesn't specify that this row label doesn't make any meaning in terms of what this column is going to represent. So what we're going to do now is we are going to have, instead of this row labels, double click onto that one, and then you can change that to cities. Okay, Okay, you can have your own names, whatever you feel like, but it's just for the understanding purposes in here. So cities, and then the other thing you can do is, because we wanted to see the highest and the lowest, so you can click on any of the numbers here, then right click, and then you go on to, here we go, is the sorting, and then for sorting you can go from sort smallest to the largest one or largest to the smallest one. Click onto that one, and then you can see it is changed now. And then the next and the final step is you go in insert, and then you see at the top pivot chart. You click onto that one, click onto this one in here, and here you go, you see a pivot chart. A chart has appeared as a column one. You can click onto the bar chart, and then you can click onto this one here as well, and here that it appears as the answer to the first question. Okay, so you can easily tell that which city is paying the lowest insurance cost and which city is paying the highest insurance cost. Now, from here, everyone needs to remember that the submission requires you to upload the Excel file as well as the Word file. But to make it easier, if you want to submit only the Excel file, the next thing is you are going to explain here. So just click on any of the columns there, couple of columns, and then you can click onto the merge here, and then you can write your answer. So for instance, you could say, in this question, for instance, Leeds is the city paying the lowest insurance cost, and then keep going and going, and then you can actually have this, and then you can right click onto this one, and then you can go into format cells, and then make sure that you have the wrap text here. Click onto this one, and then you will have an answer. So remember, every single question need an explanation, so we can understand that what these results are representing in here. If you have not enough explanation of the questions, that is going to lead to a problem. So this is your question one, part one. Okay, then you remember your answers might be different to my answers, and they should be actually different as well. So then we go on to the data again for the second part of the question. Now, if we go back into the first part of the question is almost done. Then you have the second part. Now, here we have to have, how do demographic factors such as age, gender, and income influence the spending trends in different cities? So these three things we have to figure out. So what we're going to do now again is to use the pivot table again. You click on this one, then you get back here again, click on any of the numbers, any of the cells here, and then click on insert pivot table again. Remember, it's the first option. Click, and then you make sure that it's a new worksheet, and then you press OK. A new pivot table appears. Now we are going to work on to three different columns. So the first one is going to be the city. The time you click on city, it automatically appears in the rows section. And then you have the insurance cost. Let's see, where is insurance cost in here, and drag that into the values. And then finally, because we're talking about the gender, and then you have to have this gender, and then drag that into the columns here. So here you can see that different male and females from different cities are spending different money onto the insurance cost in here. So similarly, we can easily change the titles of these ones. For instance, we can actually move that to, change that to cities. Right, so that is easy. So once you have that one, again, remember, in most of the questions, we need to change the sums into averages. And how we change the sums into averages, if you look at this bottom side in values, you click onto the values here, you go into the value field settings, and then you click on average, and here we go. So you find the averages of the insurance cost by different genders, which is the male and female in here, and from different cities. So now we can actually draw the graph on the basis of this, which tells us that different cities, how much money is being spent by males and females. So we can have a comparison. This is what is the second question about. Then you have to have You go back into the insert and then you click on pivot chart here, and then here we go. So we can have a different charts in here, whether it's a bar chart or it's a column chart, it's entirely your choice. And once you have that one in here, you can actually tell that which city is spending the highest and the lowest, and how this is being required in the question as well. Remember, this is your second question. So what you need to do is you need to click on this sheet 3, which is the by default name. Then you have to have question 1. Sorry, it should be question 1, part 2. Here we go. So guys, I hope that this clarifies that how you're going to do your different questions. So the first thing is just to reiterate the question 1 details. I put this one in here just for you. It does not require you to do that when you are working on your questions, but I did it just to make sure that you understand that which two parts of the questions we are going to do in this video. So what I did, I have copied and pasted the questions, the question number 1 from your assignment, and then because we did the first part of the question, so I changed the sheet name to question 1 part 1. If you look at the bottom in here, and then I did all the questions, all the sections of this question, and then I did question 1 part 2, and that is the answer. And again, you have to have this data, you highlight it, then merge it, and then you have to give the explanation of this question, of this answer. So you have to explain this. If you are unable to explain this, that is going to cause a trouble in terms of you will have less marks because you have not explained this very well. I hope this video is helpful for your question 1, but if you got any questions, please bring those questions for me during the seminar sessions. So thank you very much, and I will see you with a couple of other videos. Take care of yourself.